Hey everybody, Kent Walsh here, check out hashtag Earl Grey Pour Up Videos. Welcome back to Trek Central. We have our very lovely weekly show here where we talk a little bit about the exciting news in regards to the Star Trek universe. Let's jump right into it. So there's not a whole lot of news going on right now. We just kind of got some teasers, kind of continue that content push from Viacom CBS in the form of many different kinds of little tidbits of news here and there. We're obviously keeping our ears to the ground in regards to what's going on with the filming for Strange New Worlds and Discovery and Picard Season 2. We haven't heard too much other than a few postings online from some of the casts of Strange New Worlds that are saying that they're, kind of constantly getting their nice COVID tests so that they appreciate some of the information that they're getting from the production studio about everyone's safety and health concerns and things like that. So obviously characters and actors and people are like that are moving on to sets and moving off of set and getting tested, and they're kind of going back and forth, but I don't believe that anyone has officially announced the start of filming. So these could be really just anything. It could be just setting up certain things or people just kind of coming in to do reading of lines, but obviously they haven't started officially filming yet, or at least announced that just yet for Strange New Worlds. Picard, similar boat. We haven't heard too much about it. Obviously, we're kind of waiting a little bit more to see if after Sir Patrick's second shot of his COVID vaccine, they would start filming sometime around there, but there are still some serious issues going on with COVID inside of California. So obviously, a lot of the productions are kind of, in this weird kind of gray area of mystery. Now, the two that we're most interested about, obviously, is Lower Decks and Prodigy, because those are the ones that will likely be released the most recent, the most soonest as possible, which is Prodigy probably first, followed by Lower Decks in my mind, but really that's just a personal opinion. I have no reason to guess either which way. It's just how I feel about it. So they're keeping pretty hush-hush about both of those shows as of right now. We know that Lower Decks Season 2 is well underway, and Prodigy is what we know from Kate Mulgrew, has said that she's already getting ready to kick off recording lines for the second season, so we got that going for us, which is very nice. So, but they're keeping that very hush-hush, so hopefully more news to come out in the next couple weeks in regards to all of Star Trek's productions. Speaking of news, Viacom CBS has gone full court press with their, kind of production of Paramount Plus. We must get it out there, get it in front of people's TV screens, get it on, on their social media apps, get it on the Super Bowl. That had a great Super Bowl ad, which of course prompted all of these amazing and wonderful Spock memes of him vibing and dancing and stuff like that. The whole construct there is Paramount Mountain, which is the top of the mountain where all of these famous characters now live. They had Anson Mount there. They had all of their wonderful little other characters. Sir Patrick Stewart was there. He was doing his thing, and it was kind of just like a fun, little way of describing to people what's going on with Paramount Plus, and it cutting over to that construct from CBS All Access on March 4th, and then of course going international in some markets, and then they're going to continue to kind of expand outwards from there. So there are full court pressing on that. They definitely want people to know that this service is out there and what they should expect from it. They didn't really touch too much on some of the films from Star Trek, or really most films at all, and they were mostly focused on their kind of I guess you could say original content mixed with a little bit of their traditional stuff like SpongeBob and stuff like that. So they're obviously kind of keeping people's attention focused as to what is the fresh and new construct that people are going to be able to watch on Paramount Plus, which is really exciting and very appropriate. When I look at Disney Plus, I think a lot of people are subscribed to Disney Plus, but not everyone's really engaged on Disney Plus, at least for a while there, because a lot of people were just kind of tuning it out until The Mandalorian came back. Obviously, they've increased their content construct now, but for that first year and a half, there wasn't a whole lot there. It was just their library, and you kind of already knew it was there, and you could watch it when you wanted to, but there was nothing exciting or engaging to really pull everybody back in, keep them kind of subscribed. Paramount Plus obviously is trying to make sure that you're constantly subscribed for all different types of content, not just Star Trek. Obviously, we're concerned about that, but they want you to continue to focus on all of their fresh content. So we'll see how this launch goes. All eyes are on them. They just, this huge merger back in late 2019 going into 2020. There was a lot of stock price that was falling off there. They were attempting to kind of rebuild their, their construct, but then of course COVID hit, which hurt everybody across the board. So now's the time for them to really rise out of the ashes and kind of hit the ground running. So I hope that they're able to do that, and I really wish the best for the streaming service, because all the money for that just leads into more Star Trek, and I want more Star Trek. Next up story I want to talk about is an interview with Mary Shefo Shifo. I don't know how to say her name, Mary. You know that you follow me on Twitter. You could just yell at me in the DMs. But she did an interview just recently with the creatives, kind of with Star Trek Online, kind of advertising the new House Reborn and the House Divided that they had previously, kind of construct that they built around Ja'ula and the Klingons, and it was the year of the Klingons and all that stuff like that. And they brought her on. She's providing voice talent for L'Rell. And during that discussion, of course, the question came up, are you going to be planning on coming back at all for Strange New Worlds with Captain Pike, since it is supposedly, as far as we know, set in that time period where she's still the Chancellor? And she said that she's really open to it. She didn't really give kind of a no or a yes as to whether or not she's been kind of contacted. She's always said that she's open to the idea and that she would love to return to it, which is kind of the standard answer that you would expect from actors in these kinds of situations, unless you're Jason Isaacs, who likes to play even more coy than normal just to drive us nuts, which is what he enjoys doing. But so obviously she's excited to return. I'm excited to see how that ends for her, because obviously she's not the Chancellor for forever, and what does that look like for her getting removed from power? Does she get killed in a blaze of glory, or does she just kind of secretly leave? Does she just get kicked out? What's going on there? I would like her to go out in a blaze of glory, which is the Klingon way. That's what she deserves. I would love to see that, but are we going to get that? I don't know. Maybe we'll get some cool Klingon short tracks? I don't know. There's a lot of money that goes involved with all of those prosthetics, so they'd obviously have to kind of go beyond a short track budget, so they would probably have to put it inside of Strange New Worlds in some regards. I do think it's logical that we'll see some kind of cross-play over because of, the Section 31 with Ash Tyler and his relationship with L'Rell, and then obviously Strange New Worlds being in the same time period. There's a lot of play there that they could easily kind of go in and out of the Klingon area there and kind of interact with her. So I think we're going to see L'Rell. I don't think L'Rell's out yet. I think she's coming back. Speaking of Captain Pike, Migos, which is the kind of one of the original toy creators, minus a couple, of Star Trek, figurines, and I guess you could say dolls, but I guess you want to use that term, but essentially these, kind of really amazing looking figures that they make for Star Trek. They've recently released a Captain Pike version of it. We saw the Nightmare Fuel of Saru a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago now. I call him Nightmare Fuel Saru just because he kind of looks like there's a little bit too much detail on his face, but now we've got Anson Mount's Pike. I love the look of the uniform. I love the way his, he's got that, great salt and pepper kind of hair. His head looks a little bit big for his body, but I think that might just be some of the pictures on there. This is really exciting. I love this stuff. I'm really glad that they're kind of bringing out some of these more collectible figures for people to be able to, purchase and kind of add to their collection. You could have pre-ordered this Captain Pike and the Saru, but you can't now because as of making of this video, they are sold out and you can't pre-order any more of them as far as I can tell. But if anyone's got a line on one, that would be amazing. I'd love to get my hands on either one of them. They look really, really cool. I know they're making a Michael Burnham one as well, and I think they look really cool. I think Migos makes a great kind of collectible figurine that, has that old school style of, being like this cheap action figure toy that you would play with as like a really young kid, but also now has this kind of prestigious value of being like this fun, like, collectible. It's like a throwback retro style. So I think it's really fun. I'm very excited to see more of the cast or crew kind of moving forward into the future. And, maybe we'll get a fun Spock one that's Ethan Peck or something like that. That would be a lot of fun as well. So hopefully we'll start to see some more of these figures come out of Mego, but it's really cool and I really enjoy it. Anyways, guys and gals, that does wrap up our main kind of stories for today. Like I said at the beginning of the video, there's not a whole lot of news kind of coming out right now. In between last week and this week, this one's a little bit more barren, but that's the news cycle, Sometimes we're going to have a lot more information. Sometimes we're going to have a little bit less. We are obviously just getting started with this year. We haven't even reached any of the important Comic-Con dates. We haven't even gotten close into Star Trek Day, and we don't know too much about what's going on with Prodigy or Lower Decks. Lower Decks Season 2 and Season 1 of Prodigy, which I think both shows are likely to be released in their own various kind of markets and kind of seeing how that plays out. I think Prodigy likely to be out through Paramount Plus, whereas Lower Decks Season 1 at least is on through Amazon, and we'll see if they're able to kind of pull that over to Paramount Plus for the second season. Maybe it'll go through Amazon. It's unclear at this particular point. I'd be interested to see how that kind of plays out because the international market did kind of get a little screwed over there, kind of with the first season of Lower Decks. So hopefully they figured out a good deal in order to really appease the fans and kind of get this whole construct right, because that's really the whole crux of the Paramount Plus thing, which is to get the U.S. and really the North American and international distribution capabilities in sync with each other, so that all the Star Trek fans are able to watch these shows within at least 24 hours of each other and not 6 months after the fact. Now we understand that Lower Decks, did have a situation there with COVID. We understand that. Obviously, they're going to be working to try to prevent that from ever happening again in the future. But lawyers are lawyers, and sometimes these things are just out of creative people's hands. But we'll see what happens happens there in regards to Paramount Plus, housing which kind of shows. From what I can tell, at least for right now, it's going to have Strange New Worlds, and it's likely going to have Prodigy. But based off of the trailers that we're seeing here with Sir Patrick Stewart there, he wasn't in his Star Trek garb, but they probably wouldn't have just put him on there if he wasn't going to be kind of connected to the Paramount Plus construct in some kind of way. So perhaps Picard Season 2 will be on there. Maybe it'll be on both Amazon and Paramount Plus. I don't know. We're going to wait to see. Obviously, we won't know until we know, but we'll kind of keep our ears to the ground on that. And as soon as we kind of figure out what the international construct is there for distribution, we'll be sure to let everybody know as well. Anyways, guys and gals, thank you all for checking out this video. I hope that you did enjoy it. If you did, please throw a like and a subscribe up on the Trek Central YouTube channel. And, really helps us out here and allows you to stay up to date with all the latest and greatest information and reviews and discussions in regards to the Star Trek universe. And be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms as well. We have a lot of things going on Twitter, a lot of things going on Instagram, and it's definitely a great place to kind of just get involved with the larger Trek fandom as a whole. So, thank you all for checking this out again. Get your comments up down below, and we'll go ahead and get the conversation started.